What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In today's video, we're hopping into the Uncanny X-Men issue number 18, following up with our Louisiana X-Men team. Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, Jitter, Ransom, Death Dream, and Calico. The story starts us off with Calico, her, and Mutina. Now, if you guys remember Mutina from the last issue, it's more or less a mutant who kills mutants. She got a big movie deal, so on and so forth. We don't really know who she is, though. What we do know is that somehow she got into Haven House. She tells Calico not to scream. She tells her that you think your little tribe of freaks can frighten me, that you can just walk away from me, telling Calico that I'll haunt your dreams. I'll make you afraid to breathe. And so say it. Say it and I'll let you go. Say it or I'll carve up everyone in this house. Calico saying, "Murder me, Mutina." With that, she tells Calico to go back to sleep. This is where we find Calico. She becomes a sleepwalker. A relatively new thing for her, but it's been happening often. More than likely because Mutina has been visiting her in her dreams. And as Gambit and Jubilee go to take her back to her room, what we see is her bed is just absolutely destroyed. Looks like it was just diced up. And while she's murmuring, murder me, rich girl trash, just things that were said in her dream, it doesn't appear that anybody's actually picking up on what's going on here. But as we pick up the next morning, we have all of them sitting around discussing Friendship Fest. Now, this is a little festival that's supposed to kind of bring humans and mutants together. And after everything that has happened in their lives, they have to wonder, is this a smart decision? Is this the best bet for us? Should we be going public, letting everyone in town know that we're here? And what about the kids? But they all come to the decision that we're gonna go out. We're gonna go to this little festival. Let's see if we can have some fun. And so when they show up, it's almost like they're celebrities. Children and people staring at them, but it's all smiles. It's all happy. People wanting to take selfies with them. They are feeling hugely optimistic. And so while everyone's enjoying the festivities, Wolverine gets a sniff of something. He gets a sniff of the Vig. Now, we have the Vig behind these places. He's jumping some guys. Not really sure what he's up to. Wolverine isn't stopping to find out. Wolverine assumes that he's here to screw with the Cajun. But the Vig picks him up and he tells him, on any other day, I might actually try to bite your head off. I might give you a good beating. But you're not paying attention to what's happening right now. I didn't come here to hurt Remy. The guys that he was beating up, those are friends of humanity. They were fixing to burn down a few mutants and maybe take some humans along with them. Of course, blame it on the mutants, maybe even Calico. And Logan even having to admit, maybe I do owe you an apology. Just maybe. This is when they get the whiff. The smoke on the horizon. A hospital. A children's hospital has been set ablaze. Without hesitation, both Vig and Wolverine, they start running. And of course, all the other X-Men, they show up as well. Many children on the 4th and 2nd floor. People that are unable to escape, and so the X-Men, they jump into action. Without hesitation, they go into the flame. And amidst all the chaos, outside, this is where they run into Cyclops. Scott and his team have shown up to help out where they can. And just like old times, Rogue falls into place. She lets Cyclops start really giving commands to everybody because it's just natural. Everybody's so used to following Cyclops, it's almost second nature. But with our X-Men team being able to get everybody out of here safely, and while it was a very great day, someone set these fires. Now Rogue's gonna find out who, and when she does, she's ready to crack some skulls. That will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Man, when it comes to the Uncanny X-Men, it really has been a hit or miss. And I feel like this one's a huge miss. There was no substance to this at all. I get the sentiment of what they're trying to do in this comic, I really do. The idea that they have the Friendship Festival, humans are trying to bring them in, but at the same time, you have the Friends of Humanity who are trying to actively sabotage them, but it just didn't feel like it had any emotional depth to it. And then all of a sudden, you go from the Friendship Festival to a children's hospital miles away, which is super awesome. Glad the X-Men X-Men were there to save the day, but also, like, what the hell does this have to do with anything going on, and why would somebody set a children's hospital ablaze to try and get at the X-Men? Like, contextually speaking, this comic doesn't make any sense. You go from Murder Me Mutina to a random-ass children's fire. And then also, by the way, Vig's here. Like, the Vig showed up and he's beating up Friends of Humanity and he's joining the fight as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the Vig. I think he's a cool character. But like I said, contextually speaking, none of this seems in context. You went from introducing a brand new character, a brand new villain, a brand new story arc, and then you just switch it up on us entirely. Now, I'm sure in the next issue or two, we're gonna get context on why a children's hospital was set ablaze, but I feel like you could have wrote this in a better way. I feel like there was a different way to getting to where you needed to get without having to jump so randomly. This whole, friendship festival, the Mackenzie thing, it really seems like they're trying to set up a relationship between her and Kurt. Or maybe he's just trying to trust humans again. I don't really understand what story arc they're going here with Nightcrawler, but it also seems kind of out of place. It's kind of like a side backstory to the overall Uncanny X-Men. Almost like they want to tell a Nightcrawler story, but don't have the capacity to tell a Nightcrawler story. And so they're just trying to kind of fit him in wherever they can so they get his story in there. A lot of the X titles just really haven't been hugely impactful since the Krakoan era ended. They're not really resonating with fans as much. And though it does seem like they're headed in a new direction with many of the X titles in the aspect of after Krakoa, introducing new, younger mutants, I'm all for that. And while some would say that the Krakoan era wasn't good for Marvel, wasn't good for X-Men, I would hugely disagree. I would honestly say it's probably one of the best things to happen to X-Men in the last, decade or two. I think what hurt the X titles was really the premature ending to everything that Jonathan Hickman had built. And I still argue to this day that if Jonathan Hickman had stayed on those titles, had stayed throughout the entire course, guiding it along, it would have ended much better than many fans liked. Me personally, I didn't mind the ending, but I think we all can agree that Jonathan Hickman would have done that much better. Would have been a much more satisfying ending for the overall majority of fans. Now, we already have a bunch of X titles that are getting canceled left and right. It is a tough time for Marvel Comics right now. A lot of their books just aren't doing as much success as they would like them to do. One thing is for certain, Marvel Comics has some shaking up to do. They got to get some really good writers in on these X books, and they really got to make it their focal point, especially with the X-Men movies coming out, the X-Men being introduced into the MCU, all of that coming forward. Now is the time to capitalize and get your best writers to make the best stories for the best characters in X-Men. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with the Uncanny X-Men. If you would like to support this channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50 from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, please do me the favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any video that we drop, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.